Story time about how I got caught hooking up with my stepson. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. My husband actually cheated on his wife with me. I started working at his company when I was 18. We started an affair and I knew it was wrong, but at the time I was very broke. He offered me a wealthy lifestyle and believe it or not, we fell in love. So when he and I got married, I was still 18. He was much older than me. He was 42. Everyone in town, of course, started hating me because I broke up the family. His wife couldn't even see my face. My husband already had 2 kids when we got married. One was 12, one was 15. So they were much closer in age to me than he was. The kids and I got along super well. I was their cool stepmom and we had a lot of fun. When I turned 20, the oldest boy came to live with us. And I think you already know what happens. My husband was always traveling for work. That means my stepson and I would be home alone most of the time. One night we decided to watch a movie and before I knew it, we were making out on the couch. From then, we basically started an affair behind my husband's back. Part 2 about how I got caught hooking up with my stepson. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. So like I said, my husband was always traveling for work. So my stepson and I would be alone in the house a lot. One night we were watching a movie and it just happened. After that, we couldn't get enough of each other. He even started skipping class so that he could spend more time with me. We basically turned into boyfriend and girlfriend when my husband wasn't there. When my husband would come home from his work trips, we would pretend like everything was normal. One day after my husband got back from one of his work trips, he found one of his son's socks in our bed. He asked me how I got there, but I told him it probably got stuck in there while I was washing the sheets. A few months passed by and my stepson and I are still hooking up. This is when I realized that I hadn't gotten my period in a few months. My period was always irregular, so I didn't think anything of it. My stepson went to the pharmacy to get me a pregnancy test. It came out positive. But the big problem is that my husband can't have children anymore. How was I going to explain this to my husband when he couldn't have kids? Part 3 is up. Part 3 about how I got caught hooking up with my stepson. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. My stepson and I take the pregnancy test and it turns out it was positive. Well, I told my stepson that his dad wasn't able to have kids anymore. That's when he really flipped out. Then he tells me we should just tell his dad the truth. I told him let's not do anything until we actually confirm that I'm pregnant. We go to the doctor the next day and it turns out I'm not pregnant. But this made me realize that we needed to end the affair. Once we got home, I told him we needed to break things off. He begged me not to and we went to his bedroom. Not even 2 minutes later, his mother walks in. She catches us on his bed. She nearly has a heart attack, calls his dad and tells him everything. She took him out of the house and told me never to see him again. When my husband came back from his trip, he made me promise not to see my stepson again. I told him we should get a divorce, but he said no. Then he confessed to me that he's been having an affair too. Now he doesn't even let me leave the house anymore. I want a divorce. What should I do? Part 4 about how I got caught hooking up with my stepson. After my stepson and I got caught in his bedroom by his mother, aka my husband's ex-wife, they forbade us from talking to each other or even seeing each other. My stepson moved out of our house and I literally haven't spoken to him in about a week and a half. Here's the thing, my husband didn't really react the way I thought he would. He was definitely angry about me hooking up with his son, but he wasn't really angry about me having an affair. But the night that he found out, he told me he was also having an affair and that it was one of his employees. Basically the same way his relationship and mine started. If you haven't seen part 1, you should go see it. In part 1, I tell you that he cheated on his wife with me. In other words, my husband definitely has an MO. A few days later, my husband grabs my purse from me and cuts up all my credit cards. He even took my name off of our shared bank account. So even though I live in this beautiful mansion with lots of fancy cars, I don't have any money of my own. Then he told me that it was his ex-wife's idea to take all the money away from me. I guess she must think I'm a gold digger. I convinced my husband to give me an allowance. I still have to do my nails. But things get complicated again. My stepson DM me on Instagram part 5. Part 6 of how I got caught hooking up with my stepson again. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram, not my story time. So hubby comes in and finds his stepson and I sitting on the couch. That's when my stepson, I have to stop calling him my stepson, more like my boyfriend now. He confronts his dad and tells him that we are in love. He even told him that we want to get married and move in together. That's when hubby accuses me of brainwashing his son into having an affair with me. Then he accused me of brainwashing him too into having an affair with him. That's when the doorbell rings. Yep, it's my husband's ex-wife and my stepson's mom. She starts calling me a homewrecker, saying that I took her husband away and now I'm taking her son away. Trust me, I understand where this woman is coming from. My stepson explained everything to her, and the fight went on for about 3 hours. Oh yeah, remember I told you guys I took a pregnancy test that was false? Well, I started feeling sick the other day, so I went and got another pregnancy test, and that one came out positive. My stepson and I went to the doctor, and it's confirmed I am pregnant. My husband finally agreed to give me the divorce, and he also gave my stepson his trust fund. So now we have a lot of money, and we're looking for our own house together. I guess everything has turned out pretty good, but I've been banned from every family event in the future. Should I do a part 7, you guys? Thank you for listening to my story.